Welcome everyone to another episode of Couch Coaches, the show that loves to talk about the Warriors and rugby league in general because we just love the great game. I'm your host, John Lazaron, and I'm joined by my co-host, Richard Laddie, the bandwagon conductor. Richard, I'm just going to go out and say it. What everyone else is saying, every other Warriors fan is saying, 2025 is our year. That's and yeah,
baby, at the was.
yeah. Just quoting Dan Hooker there. Did you see the old UFC fight where his press conference where they asked him, "Oh, you're a big Warriors fan," and he was just like, "Yeah. So what do you think about it?" He goes, "No, it's all good. And next year's our year." He just. I love his response. Like he didn't give a chance for the reporter to elaborate their question. He just said, "No, don't worry, it's all good. We've got it under control. And next year is our year." And I think that's what every Warriors fan is saying right now after. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. It was a very, very shambles of a year. Especially when there was a lot of promise. There's a lot of promise in the squad. The squad is a very stacked squad. On paper, it's a very stacked squad with a lot of good, promising young players coming through as well, who are playing New South Wales Cup, but we still couldn't get it done. And there's a lot of things to think about, about this season. But we'll do that another time. We'll do like a little season review another time. But it's just upsetting. Every week riding on the whole. We've still got a mathematical chance of making the 8, but yeah, I don't. That's long gone now. So yeah, how are you feeling after realizing that our mathematical chance had left after we lost to Manly?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that the whole mathematical chance thing's over now, so we can just sit back, enjoy the final 2 games of the season. Obviously, a nice touch with the Wires changing the name of the stadium this week, Sean Johnson Stadium, BGS Tavares last game as well. So a couple of Warriors legends, a couple of guys who really worn their heart in the sleeves over the last sort of 10, even more. What's SJ probably when he was 11? So yeah, 13, 14 years. So, but that game just summed it up this season. There was a lot of promise. We kind of started both halves well. But just let in some pretty silly tries really, and made some stupid mistakes on attack, really close to the Manly line. I don't know why we didn't take that 2 points. It started bucketing down about 2 or 3 months later. It felt like, But yeah, it's probably good for some of the my bandwagon mates to know what it is to be a Warriors fan, because this is what it is. It's just so much promise, but then you get to the end of the season and constantly the whole mathematical chance, our year, things start coming up. But yeah, I'm with Dan Hooker there. 2025 is our year. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to watching some good footy over the next few weeks. I watched a few other games on the weekend, and there was some some beautiful games, some amazing games of footy, especially the Thursday night game and the final, the first and the last games of the round. But yeah, just something to say well.
Yeah, well, before we get on to the Warriors stuff about that game, which is, to be honest, we might as well just keep our previous recordings of this podcast and just keep it on repeat, because it seems like to be the same thing happening every week. But with the Warriors out now, and I know that you're a big not a diehard Raiders fan, but you're a big Raiders fan. But who are you backing? Put away the whole. I'm a Raiders fan. I'm going for the Raiders. Who are you backing to win 2024? Because there's only like a couple of teams in contention. Even though there's 8 teams that go into the finals, for me it's really between the Storm and the Panthers, and that was their game together was a great game. So What do you think?
I think I would say that, but I think you could throw a few other teams in there. I think definitely throw the Bulldogs in there, the way they're playing. I don't know if you've seen all that chat about the 1984 they won the grand final, 1994 they lost the grand final, 2004 they won, 2014 they lost. So it is their year, on that logic, and they're playing good footy and playing like they could. They're probably playing, as they're almost the form team of the comp at the moment, and it just got some guys who are just sort of come from nowhere, just recruited really well. So I definitely would put the Bulldogs in there for a shot, and Manly. I thought I've been a bit of a doubter of Manly this year, but I thought on the weekend, I was just like, wow, that's a good team. They're quite a likable team as well. There's some really likable guys in that team, but they just look like a really well-drilled team. Cherry Evans is just like a fine wine, getting better with age.
Yeah.
But if I had to put my money on it, I would go for Panthers. And I think when we record the first episode of the season, we asked who we thought were going to win, and I said I think Panthers are going 4 in a row, and you said the Warriors.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit closer to getting my answer right there. But yeah. I think if I'm putting money on it, it has to be the Panthers. I know Cleary's out, but he's expected to be back for finals. And even when Cleary's been out, Luai's been amazing. Schneider's been really good. So they're just they're just such a well drilled team that when someone goes down, someone steps up, and everyone knows their role really well.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying in regards to the Bulldogs, because I think I didn't have really time of day for them before the Warriors game, especially when the Warriors, they should have won that game, and when the Warriors were out, they were depleted. We all know that, and we all know, like, even if you're out there, if you're listening, you're a Bulldogs fan, you know that the Warriors were robbed of that game. That's just the way it is. But just like many teams this season have been robbed by the bunker with the officiating. But anyway, since that game, I admit that the Bulldogs, they've stepped up a bit, because their defense, they were known for their defense, but not for their attack. But now their attack seems to gone up a few gears. So yeah, I mean, you can throw the Bulldogs in there, but I still think that the Panthers or the Storm will be too strong for them. And that showdown between the Panthers and the Storm was an awesome game. And the Storm, came out winners and stuff. But for me, out of those two, anyone can win on their day. I mean, you can say that for any team, but I honestly think that those two teams are the only ones that really are in contention, because you got the Sharks there as well, up there as well and stuff like that. But I just don't think they've got nothing on the Panthers or the Storm. And like
no love for the Roosters.
I like the Roosters in the sense of they're a team like not like the Storm. Remember how we've talked about the Storm being like the All Blacks of old, where the All Blacks were just, even if they played bad, they just knew they just found a way to win. That's like the Storm, right? They even if they're playing bad, they still find a way to win. I think the Roosters are sort of in that category, but nowhere near compared to the Storm. And I just think my opinion is that it'll come down to the Storm or Panthers, not because they're both riding on the top of the ladder, but actually, yeah, because they are. Because the reason why they're up there is because of the way they've been playing. And even with a season that's been without Cleary, in the 7 jersey, the Panthers have still found ways to win without him, and so they can do it. They can still put a performance on, an 80-minute performance on without Cleary, which is something that's awesome, because a lot of teams, when they lose their star halfback, they don't seem to repeat the performances.
Take the Warriors, for example, there, when Sean Johnson's been out, or even when he's been playing, he just hasn't been his best. It's really shown in the quality of our games, So as I said before, Luai steps up, Schneider sort of just next into that role, and it was. Speaking of Cleary, just quickly, because I'm sure we'll talk about the Manly, the Manly game and our obstruction call.
Yeah.
Did you see the obstruction call and the no call and the? It's just like, come on, NRL, like it's like it's just frustrating, They're doing like the bunker looks at it, doesn't even like have another look at it, and then as soon as Casey Badger's like, I want to have a look at this, like, have one look at it, like. Cherry Evans wasn't getting there, but I mean, he's one of those players that knows, he knows the rules of the game, and he knows as long as I make it look like I'm, throwing my body this way, and it's just frustrating.
What's annoying for me is that, I mean, what's going to be annoying for me is if surely that they'll have an end of season review, the refereeing, and stuff like that, and if the top man Graham Annesley comes out and says, oh, we've had a really good year refereeing, I will flip and rip my hair out, because the thing is that he honestly, if he comes out like he does many times in his Monday report, saying that the referee was correct in this, which is not true. We all know that. I don't understand how he can just blatantly just try to tell us, oh, because I said it, it means it's correct. But we all we've all got eyes. We all can see what's going on. We all have an understanding of the rules, and he just backs his referee. I really hope they have it in the season, a season-ending review, and that from there, something gets shaken up, because it's just ridiculous. We as Warriors fans have been the victims of so many stuffed up calls. Like, it's just not fair. Like, to the point where, like, this is just demeaning. It's just so bad. And then now you're seeing it across the board, where to the point where now Wayne Bennett had to come out. Big star coach Wayne Bennett came out earlier in the year saying this is getting really bad. When he came out and spoke about the officiating. I don't know if he got in trouble for it, but yeah, he came out and did it, and a lot of coaches were sort of backing him. And yeah, I just really hope they do something about it, because what's been a pretty good season has been ruined by officiating, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and it's just, I mean, as a Warriors fans, we've been living with it for years, but it was just a classic example, like,
yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, they'll call it up. I was like, I don't think it should be called up, but I was like, no, I mean the Cleary one and the Panthers Storm game. I was like, they'll call it up, and then they looked at it. No, I was like, okay, that's cool, as long as that's how they're going to roll them now. But then, the night after, the Warriors get, and it was just like, a bit of a lazy run through the line from Capewell, but as I said, Cherubins knew what to do, and I've done. Just quickly, we were talking about who we think's going to win. Just who do you want to win? Because when you look at the 8, well, who's probably going to be in the 8? Who would you feel most happy?
Penrith. Penrith.
Really?
I support it.
You want to
as you know, before the Warriors, I was a fan of Penrith. Growing up as a kid, I was a Panthers fan, especially when they won in '91. They were in the grand final 91 against the Raiders. The old Mal Meninga, Laurie Daly days, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So they had Brad Fittler on their team, I think, at the time, and it was just, I was a big fan, really big fan back then. And then sort of switched, but I went to Parramatta for personal reasons, as you know, switched to Parramatta, but just because I was just going over in the Aussie and hoping to make a chance there. But at the time when I was a teenager, but Penrith, because I've always had a soft spot for Penrith, just because I've always supported them as a kid, growing up. Yourself?
Yeah, well, I think I would have been Penrith, but I'm just loving the Dogs at the moment. I can't believe it. I've always given them a hard time, but I don't think they've ever been a team that I've really had a dislike for. But I just, I love the story. Like Geraldo sort of, coming out. It'd be great to see him. Imagine Penrith Dogs final. The Master versus the Apprentice. So, but I'd also be happy with Penrith. I was at the grand final last year. Watched that Nathan Cleary clinic, and I was cheering the Penrith home that night pretty hard. So, I'm just, as I said, like, it's a shame the Warriors are out, but I think it's going to be a pretty good final series. So we'll we'll be able to talk a bit more about that in the coming weeks.
Yep. Well, before we get into talking just briefly about the Manly game, I mean, I'm just hoping, because we're talking about the NRL now in general, and the final series coming up, and I just hope that the final series isn't sort of marred by the negative media that's happening at the moment within the NRL. Like, you look at Latrell Mitchell, Latrell, what's going on with him. I mean, the photo you see. I mean, you've seen the photo. It's quite blurry, but you see a white substance there. But the thing is, it's just a white. You don't know what it is, but it doesn't make it look good when he's bending over and stuff like that.
Could have been some paracetamol. I used to remember Billy crushing some paracetamol up and putting it in my gins back in the day when I had a bit of a sore back.
He could have spilled some sugar when he was making himself a cup of tea. I mean,
exactly. He could have been cutting some flour to make some sourdough or something.
Yeah, far out. Why do they have to go? But I mean, it does not a good look. I mean, the truth is, it isn't a good look. But it's just, for me, it's just like I mean, that person that actually took the photo took advantage of that, and he could lose under the rules. South Sydney, they have the right to cut off a quarter of his salary, and which would mean $250,000, because he's on $1 million a year. That's a lot of money to lose just for one little moment, isn't it? And I mean, I'm not going to make a judgment saying that was that. I just like these are the headlines that are hitting at the moment. Instead of focusing on the footy, and you've got, when you have things like this, just and then you've got all the negative press around Kevin Walters, everyone going attacking Brisbane Broncos coach, but who's under fire. But just because he's in the same position as the Warriors, where they just haven't fired this year, and sometimes it just happens that way. But it's just
they're too good. They're too good looking, the Broncos. I think too many hotties in that team. Same with the Warriors. With the Warriors, when you think when they're sort of their full strength hotness, two of the better looking teams. So maybe it's a case of just not being able to too much focus on getting down to the barber and getting your skacks cut as opposed to playing some good footy. But they're interesting. The Warriors and Broncos, both. I think both, everyone would have had them at least in their top 8. Probably a few people would have had them both in their top 4s at the start of the season. But a few injuries. They had a few injuries. Probably, I don't think they're probably as bad as us. And I'm not making excuses for the Warriors, but injuries obviously have hurt us pretty massively and been unable to. But I think it seems like the Warriors fans aren't going after Webster yet too much. I don't think they should. I think Webster's got a plan. And that we'll just wait to see what happens next year. I'll be interested to see if there's any signings. We probably will have a few spots available now with Jazz and Shawnee going, but I know there's a few young guys that have been upgraded as well. So, just the media, you make the Mole and Buzz and all those boys, and Paul King, is Paul King still around, or is he finally been cancelled?
Nah, he's I think he's out of the picture, to be honest. But it's embarrassing. I mean, if you don't know that's already out there, if you're listening in, I mean, I've been in media for over 20 years, done pretty well at it as well, and more on the communications media side of things these days. But I personally think that, especially here in New Zealand, the standard of journalism has just dropped to a low level. And some of the media I've had to deal with over the years. I mean, especially in sports, it's just incredibly bad. But moving on to that, let's. So I'm just hoping that that we focus on the footy rather than all the crappy stuff that's happening at the moment. And I like what your reasoning for the Warriors doing so bad this year is because they're too hot. So we'll we'll leave it at that. But let's go to the Manly game. So we just briefly talk about that, because I mean there's not much to say, is there? Because like I said before, it's just a repeat of every game, the same some sort of algorithm. It's just the same thing that happens every week, is that they start well, they have a lot of position in the opposition half, in their within their 10-meter line, and they just can't convert the points. Can't convert their position into points, and they have so much sets of 6, and then the opposition only. I think against Manly, their first time they got there, they scored. Then they got to the Warriors line. The Warriors were down in their end, trying, couldn't get it done. And it was just all sloppy. And look, I'm going to say that, and I don't care about saying that. I don't care if people get upset about this. But the thing is, even though Shaun Johnson is leaving, and I know it's going to be an emotional time, and we've acknowledged him. We've paid tribute to Shaun Johnson on the show because he deserves it for all the things that he's done. He is a true Warrior legend, but he was mud on against Manly. He was. That's the truth.
Second half, I think the first half he actually played all right. He was controlling the game, kicking the game quite well. But I mean, second half it was horrendous. Dropped balls. There was a pass that went to nobody. And just especially with those conditions, it was absolutely buckling down, and it's not what you need from your 7. He was just passing, and I think there was a few passes he went to people who were sort of who were deeper runners.
Capewell, I remember that one because Capewell, the one that he just turned around and looked at him, and like, what the heck was that? And this is what I mean. I mean, you may have a fair point about the first half, but I just remember consciously just watching it and thinking like, man, I know that you're going out, and I want you to do well, in your final couple of games, but this is poo. This is flipping rubbish, and it was rubbish, and I don't know what it is. He just can't seem to put it together. He can't seem to get it together, and I'm like I said, I'm all for like the whole Shaun Johnson stadium thing. I think it's a great touch by the Warriors. It's an amazing touch by the Warriors to change the stadium for their final home game. And I just think that but I just think in terms of form, going in the game that we just saw, I was just like, what the heck? And the only smile that I got on my face that was put on my face on that day was seeing Luke Metcalf the way he played. He got the ball, he attacked he wasn't afraid to attack the line, his pace and everything. And I think that, him switching to 7 is going to be a big thing. But the thing is that people keep talking about him and Tamari Martin going to be the halves next year, but can Tamari Martin play 6? And I know that I'm going to say this right. You may disagree with me, but I still think that Luke Metcalf will be the 7 next year. That's what I'm thinking, that he will be the 7 because that's where he wants to play as well. That's what he wants to play as well. He's said that, and I think that Webster will get that to him. But for me, it's the 5'8" role that's just the concern, because we've seen Tamari Martin at 5'8". I think Tamari Martin plays better at halfback. So we know what's got to give to make sure that everyone's happy. But yeah. What other takes did you get from that game?
Sorry. Yeah. Can you hear me all right? Because you were a bit jumpy before, but am I coming through?
Yep.
So,
you're coming through, mate.
I think I said last week about DCE. I was like, every time we play against Manly, I just get a little shiver up my spine when DCE gets the ball. Yeah. And when he kicked that 40-20, quite earlier on, I think, and that's what you're talking about. It was the first time Manly went on attack. He just 20 through, and then that Saab scored that try without being touched. It was like a touch try, He sort of just stepped around Montoya. Obviously there was an obstruction call, which was sort of alluded to, but I just, it's frustrating, As soon as I called that back, I was like, For Noah Blake, I think we're going to miss him massively. He had another huge game. He's one of the best on the park for us. Just big minutes, big meters, offload, couple offloads, but that particular offload for Shaun Johnson try. And I think we probably were the better team for more of the game, but we just the execution once again. You're right, rinse and repeat. It's execution. Silly errors, getting into the opposition's 20 and then just dropping the ball or just having nothing on the fifth tackle. We've talked about it plenty of times. So, we don't need to dive into it too much. It's probably Jason Saab, 9 tries in 5 games against the Warriors, I think it was. So he's another one that's going to start putting shivers up my spine. But as I said before, I think I was actually impressed with Manly. I think they look like a good team. And I think we probably played our best game in a couple of months almost. But we still, there's just that second half, few silly errors, weren't able to sort of adjust to the conditions. So here we are again. Just, feeling a bit down about another Wars loss.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, I just had no energy at the end of it. I was just like, not again. But like I said, the good takes from it were Fanua Blake was awesome. He was awesome. I thought, he was back to his best as well. Luke Metcalf was awesome. And I just think that it's going to take a big effort from Webster over the off season to figure out what's his starting team. Because I just don't think Roger fits in well at centre. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's a centre. And it's not just your opinion. I think there's a lot of people who have the same opinion. That's for sure. Because
myself included.
And I think Pompey's earned his place there, and in the centre position, and Rocco Berry was doing well before he got injured, as well. So where do we go from here? Because you've got Montoya, who he hasn't played that. He hasn't been the greatest this season, but you've got Dallin as well, and you've got Chance as well. I think Chance does well. He's a good, like I said, he gains so much meters, but I'd rather see Chance at centre. I mean, I know that Webster's already said that's his jersey, but does he mean for his whole tenure at the Warriors, or is it just for the season? So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting to see what changes he makes, because Freddie Lussick played the game because obviously Egan was out, but I just think that I would have rather played Paul Roach, more of an attacking presence around him, and just try it. I mean, when Webster had no choice But to put in the young guys in and put people out of position, like when Chance played 5'8", for example, at the time against the Panthers, we won, and it was just like, it's just like I think that why can't he just go with his gut and just go, you know what? Let's just go Paul Roach and just see what he does, because before he got injured, he was doing right. He started to creep into the team a little bit, and I don't think Lussick, even though he's been signed on for an extra year or two, I don't think he's the future, at hooker for us. I think he's someone that's just got more of an attacking prowess about them. But again, it was just a role. It's just like again, we're just rewinding a tape of the Warriors all season, especially over the last 10 games, where they just can't convert their position into points. That's a good sign that they have the position and they can get into the opposition 20 every time. Like our back three, our back five, they take the carries that lead gets them into the opposition half, but we just can't finish it off. We can't finish it off, and that's what's annoying to me. And again, I've mentioned this.
Then you got Fanua Blake, and in particular, the meters that he's making up the middle. Yeah, but it's just the polish. And it was the polish that was there last season. That right edge in particular. Was just they had the ball on the string, but it's just it's been a bit of hasn't been the same this year. Just quickly on the halves, do you think that what would you think about giving Tuabiki a shot at 6?
Oh, I'm a fan. I mean, I don't know if I can't remember his history, but I think he's done it before. He's played in the halves before. I think I'm not. Don't quote me on that one, but it's I mean, who else have we got? You got Harris Tavita, who can do it, but I just think he's better as a utility. I think it'd be better as a utility coming off the bench, and I like Tuapiki. I really, as you know, I like Tuapiki. I think that was a good shot, but then. Yeah, it'd be nice to know.
I'd just be intrigued to see it because I think we need to keep him in the squad somehow. And I do still think I think Mikas is more of a 6 personally. I know that he said he wants to play 7, but I'm sure he'll get a go at some point. But just the way he plays, I just feel like he's more of that sort of running. Sort of Cam Munster sort of mould, as opposed. I suppose he could probably do a bit of a Jerome Hughes, but as I said the other week, what will we pay to get Jerome Hughes on the books at the Waz?
That would be awesome. But I think the reason why the people stay on at the Storm is because they just are successful. Look at Katoa, for example, a lot of potential, but just couldn't do it at the Warriors. But he goes over to the Storm and his confidence shoots up a level. It just shows you that if you have the right culture around you, how things can change. It's like
Enser, that winger. I think I can't remember who. I think maybe he was playing with the Tigers before potentially. It was barely a first grader, and he goes to the Storm, and he's probably one of the best wingers in the game at the moment. Every time he touches the ball, he scores a try or he breaks a tackle. That club just has a knack for sort of finding these sort of fringe players and just turning them into some of the best first graders in the game. Should we just give some Wiley endpoints quickly while we're sort of still roughly talking about that Manly game?
But just before we do it though, can I just ask you? Because we're talking about who would you want to have? Do you know who I would love the Warriors to make a play for? I don't know what the situation is in the contract, but I think it wouldn't be fully expensive, but I reckon it would be an awesome move. Is someone from the Storm would be Tyron Wishart, old Wishart's son. I think he comes off the bench, for example, for the Storm, and whenever he comes off or he starts, he just has an amazing game. He's got a good, amazing running game. He's got his attention to detail where he can scope out what's going on around him, and he's got quick pace as well and stuff. Just like his dad. His dad was a winger, was a famous old winger, old Rod Wishart, and I just think that honestly, if I was the Warriors, I'll be making a play for him because he would be a starter straight away, and he could be that 5'8". So how you asked me about Tuapiki? I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather have someone like Tyron Wishart. Imagine having Tyron Wishart up and coming.
He's been so good this year. I remember like the start of the season when I think because Hughes had a suspension for a week or two, and he came and played a game like absolutely carved up at halfback, or maybe Munster played halfback, and obviously when Munster was out, it was just he was getting better and better every week. Chucking him in same game multi score a try every week. It was
Yeah.
a green tick most weeks as well. So I mean, I'm sure that he'll probably hang on to his Storm contract for a bit longer because it's only going to increase your kind of the bidding power.
Yep.
Going forward.
All right. Well, sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt you. We're going to get into the Williams.
That's all good. Yep. Yeah. So we've got our Wily Ems. That's our version of the Delhi Ems because they're wrought. So we give our 3, 2, 1 points for each Warriors game. So I'll start us off. I got my 3 points to Fanua Blake. We talked about him before. Yep. He had that beautiful offload for Shaun Johnson's try. I think he ended up playing about 70-odd minutes, so big for a middle. 16 carries, 163 meters, 35 tackles. No errors or no penalties given, no errors. So I thought it was just a really good game from him. We are going to miss him. I know Fisher Harris is coming, but they're different players. And the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks when the Warriors have been a bit down, he seems to be one of the shining lights.
Yep.
I gave my 2 points to Cook Capewell. I thought it was one of his best games in the Warriors jersey. He obviously, there was that disallowed try, but that was not really his fault. Well, I mean, it was him, but I think it should have been a try anyway. But just thought, he was great on both sides of the ball. And DWZ got my 1. I thought he's been pretty good the last few weeks. Constantly just putting in so much effort. You talked before about the back 3 and the meters they make. I think, he just puts his body on the line and continued to do that the other night. He was getting tested by the Manly defence as well. And he's scored a sort of trademark try as well, diving in the corner. So, that was my 3.
Yeah, fair enough. Mine were very similar, but except for one, my 3 points went to Fanua Blake as well. I just thought he was just back to his best, and it was awesome to see. And one thing that I wanted to mention as well, so I'll just quickly mention it here, is that like when we've mentioned this before as well, but I just don't understand for the for the light of day, I don't understand how this isn't rectified or done something. No one's done something about this or mentioned it, because we've mentioned it, and I know other people have mentioned it as well. Was that when there's someone running and there's no support player, it's like their game plan is just take a hit, no matter how far you go. Even if you make a little break, just take the hit, and then we'll reset for the next tackle. You know what I mean? Like every other team has the option of, there's always a support player. There's always support players running on the ball carrier, and it just doesn't happen with the Warriors, and that frustrates me so much. And for Noah Blake, he was awesome, and he had a lot of times when he made tackle breaks, and there was just no one there to pass the ball to. I'm just watching, I'm just noticing this more and more, and it's just like, it's really, really stupid. I don't get it. If you're a rugby league team, you can't have a plan where you don't think you haven't got support players. But anyway, so that's just my little rant there. 3 points for Noah Blake, 2 points for Metcalf. I just thought that he was awesome, and he was trying so hard. I know that it didn't look like things pulled out, didn't pull off, didn't come out the way he wanted it to, but he put a lot of effort in there, and I thought we saw enough to know that he's our guy. He's our guy for coming going forward. And 1 point for Kurt Capewell. I think as we've mentioned many times before, since Origin, he's stepped it up a bit, and he seems like he's not just playing well defensively and attacking there, but he's just you can see he's got a bit of an authority on the field, within the Warriors. So I think those are my 3, 2, 1s at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, I think I just here we look at the leaderboard for the year, and for Noah Blake's, he's up ahead on 44 points, and Barnett's sort of trailing but not far behind. So we'll see what happens in the final 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome. So basically, it's a shame that we talk about Fanua Blake, because he is one of the Warriors at least. I know everyone's been talking about Shaun Johnson and his departure, but I think Fanua Blake, we need to talk about Jazz and Fanua Blake. Jazz, 8 seasons with the club. Started his career here. He wanted to be a one club man player, but that's not going to happen now. But there isn't any talk about where he's going, but he kind of a little bit of a slip of the tongue in one of his interviews where he said that it'll be funny coming back here playing against them. So I think he's got something lined up. It's just that he's just not letting people know at the moment where he's going. So it's interesting because like he wasn't offered a contract. He wasn't needed anymore. But it's interesting. It's interesting that that's the case because now you're hearing news that Aaron Clark from the Titans is due to come back to the Warriors. He started his career at the Warriors, only played one game for them in 2017 before moving on to the Raiders. And then from the Raiders, he went to the Titans. And since then, he's been a regular and doing pretty well. He's done pretty well over there. He can play hooker. He's played more front rower for the Titans, but he can play, in the middle as well. And if they sign Aaron Clark, wouldn't you think that would be more of like a like for like replacement of Jazz? And if that's the case, wouldn't you just keep Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? That obviously isn't official that he's been signed.
Yeah,
but
just a rumor.
It's not. Yeah, with these rumors, I think we know from the last few years that sometimes it can be sort of smoke and mirrors. But
yeah,
I mean, I was pretty surprised. I was sort of like he's the guy that I recognize the name, but I can't, even when I watch sort of Titans games, I don't really, he doesn't seem to stand out, do anything too flash. Maybe he's obviously just got a good work ethic, and yeah, potentially homesick. What's come home. There's some talk that he could play, be basically Tohu Harris's replacement and play 13 when Tohu retires. Whether that, I think he's got one more year left on his contract.
Yeah.
And the way that his body's gone, I'd be surprised to see him play, beyond next year. But we've already got, I suppose Dylan Walker's probably similar coming towards the sort of end of his career as well. So, it seems like a bit of an odd one. But as I said, I kind of haven't paid too much attention to his career, but he's obviously a Kiwi, and wants to actually come home. So, but on Jazz, he'll be one of those ones that's just it'll be weird. It's like when Sean Johnson first went to the Sharks. It's just weird, seeing him play against the Warriors. I think Jazz will be one of those. Yeah. Been a few of those players over there. Even when we play against the Bulldogs earlier in the year, I sort of felt a bit weird seeing Curran playing. He seemed like he just belonged in the Warriors jersey, but obviously there was things going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah. No, you're right, and it's one of those things where it's hard. It's like for example, I'm so happy that we're getting Fisher Harris, right? That's like a big you're gonna replace Fanua Blake, someone like Fisher Harris. That's just awesome. But the thing is that I was when they first signed when the news came out that they had signed Fisher Harris, I was trying to picture in my head Fisher Harris in a Warriors jersey, and I just couldn't do it because you always see him in a Panthers jersey. It's all you've seen him throughout his career. It's just the Black Panthers jersey or the pink one that they wear, their away jersey, or a Kiwis jersey. And then I was just trying to picture Fisher Harris in a Warriors jersey. I just couldn't see it for some reason. It took me a while to put the colors of the jersey together. See Fisher Harris in it. So I think a lot of people would have thought Fisher Harris would have been a one club man as well for Penrith. I think that's why I said I struggled at first to see him in a Warriors jersey, but I can now, and I'm so excited about it. Solid from the start, and he's probably arguably the best signing of the NRL be the best signing at the moment, out of all signings. But I just think we need to sign a better half. I mean, I know we've got Metcalf and stuff, but you need more than one. You need another couple of halves in there. I know that they're investing in youth like Jet Cleary and stuff. Who knows when he'll be available or when he's ready to take that next next step up. I mean, I haven't seen Jet Cleary play. I heard he's got a lot of potential, but I've never seen him play myself, so I don't know what he's actually like. But if he's anything like his brother, then gosh, we'll take it. But I just think we need to invest in a half. And I think, that's why I said Tyron Wishart would be such an awesome addition. I mean, I don't know if he'd even want to come to New Zealand, but Tyron Wishart would be such an awesome addition to the team. But yeah, it'll be sad to see Jazz.
He's on your wish list, is he?
He is. He is on my wish list, and I just remember watching him play on the last few weeks. I just think, wow, he's an explosive player, and he's got a lot of confidence, and he's scoring tries as well. He's doing so well, and he doesn't even start. And that's the thing; he doesn't even start. He's not even in the starting 13. So unless there's an injury, so I just think that I reckon he could slot into any team easily, any other team very easily. So yeah, but that's like it. That's just a wish, It's just a wish of mine. No pun intended. It's really sad to see Jazz go and stuff like that. It'll be interesting. I hope they're. I've been hearing through social media that the plan is that on the 7th minute everyone's going to stand up to clap for Sean Johnson or something. On the 7th minute of the game. I just hope that they also do something to acknowledge Jazz because he's a fan favorite. So I just hope something.
Yeah, I saw they had like a social media video earlier, just like some clips from him over the years. They should have pulled out, all the 10 of the bins he's had or something like that.
Yeah, he's matured. He's matured.
That's what we know and love Jazz for. So no, it'd be good. Obviously, you got the Bulldogs this week, final game at home for the year. Do you still back the boys to get the job done, or are you gonna finally jump off the wagon?
No, like as always gonna step in with faith, as I always do. But I just think that they just don't have it in them at the moment. For the last, especially the last 6 to 8 weeks, when we just sing just a repeat of the same cycle, where the teams are scoring so easily against us, and we just can't seem to break their defenses. And when we've got so much time in their half, I just think that I can't help but feel it's just going to be the same thing again because there's no creativity out there. It's like, remember how we've talked about in the past when a bit of urgency is needed, then they step up and they try something different, and then things start to go well. They just don't do it. They don't go out with that plan or mindset. And against the Dolphins, I think I remember someone saying at halftime, it's like they were down and they were like, you know what? Let's just throw the ball around and see what happens in the second half. And look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what happened then.
Yeah, more of that, please.
Why can't they just do that from the start? Why do you have to just revert to that when you're desperate? Why stick to a formula that's not working? That's what does my head in. Why stick to a formula or a game plan that is not working, and then go to plan B, which is a more creative, more fast game approach, and it works? Why not start with that? I know that you got to conserve energy as well because rugby league it takes the energy out of you, but we're losing games, so they've got to try something different. We're losing every game, even the tight ones. We're losing. So, yeah, I just really,
particularly the tight ones we're losing. I think we're like Owen.
Yeah,
we've only won two or three. Well, one, maybe 2 games this year within 6 points, but we've lost about 7 now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Well, answering your question, mate. Sorry, is that I would love to see the Warriors, especially for Sean Johnson, Jazz Tavanga, Fanua Blake's last home game. Sorry, I'd love to see it, but I admit that I have my doubts just because the way the Bulldogs are playing and the way we are playing, I just don't see them. It'll take a big mindset change to a game plan change to do something different. But if they stick to the same game plan, which they've been doing, even for the last few games when they're desperate, I mean, what makes you think they're going to change it this week? So, yeah, I think
with the game plan thing, obviously that's what it's Andrew Webster's. That's the sort of coach he is. That's the game plan he's sort of installed in the team. Last year it was similar. It worked. This year just hasn't worked. So I don't want them to sort of jump off the game plan too much. But yeah, I think now with a couple weeks left, we're just going to see some entertaining footy. Maybe next week see a few young guys get a shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's hard to. It's great that it'll be once again sold out now at Smart. But it's hard to see just especially against the Bulldogs, such a good defensive team. It's hard to see where we're going to get these points because the way we've sort of been playing majority games last few weeks, we just been struggling. Well, this whole season really.
Yeah, well, it is interesting that you say that because, like, I think that we should, how you see, like, you don't want to see them go off the game plan too much. I want them to completely change the game plan completely. For example, the game plan you could see when, like, for example, was Sean Johnson was just going to kick to the corner. They weren't even going to contest it. They were just waiting for the ball to, jump, to fall into the hands of, the fullback or the winger, whoever's there. We wait for them to get the ball, then we tackle them, and then we try and keep them down there. Then we attack. But the problem is that teams they figured that out so easily what our plan was, and then when we were down there, if we kept them down there and we get closer, and when then we edged closer to their line, we just couldn't score. So they just needed to change the plan, and that's just my opinion. But I think again, I think Bulldogs will win it 1-12. That's just my opinion. And what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm probably with you there. As much as I'd love to tip the Warriors to get up, I think the Bulldogs will really want to win this game. They want to get to the top 4 as well. There's a lot more for them to play with, even though it's all going to be about SJ. I think that Matty Burden and the boys might come and spoil the party.
Yeah. I just want to see urgency, like we've been talking about. But, like, for example, in just any game plan, I know every team has a different game plan, but every team, and I'm like, sorry guys if you're listening, I'm just repeating myself here, but every team is a different game plan. But every team has support runners wherever they go. When someone makes a break, because that's how you score. Because then, if you make a break and you're 1-on-1 with the fullback, there's always someone there to pass to, right? But that doesn't happen with the Warriors a lot. That's what flipping frustrates me. I just want to see just some normality come into their game, which is like that. But look, speaking of, we just talked about our tips there and stuff. Let's just go into the tips now, because otherwise my head's going to explode about how frustrated I am with the Warriors in their game plan. I just really want to see an overhaul of their game plan for 2025. But we'll talk about it another time. Let's just go into the tips.
Have some patience, John. Deep breath. Have some patience.
Mate, I've had patience since 1995. Since 1995, I've had a lot of patience.
The game plan worked last year. It's just see.
Yeah, no.
You can get a fit team, a stable halves pairing. We'll see what happens.
The game plan only works as well.
I'm tipping the Manly Seagulls to beat the West Tigers.
He just jumped into it. If I can say anything.
Getting late.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm gonna flip and get going for forever. You're right. Good call. All right, West Tigers, Seagulls. Yeah, Seagulls as well for me. That's then the Warriors, Bulldogs. We've just given our tips. I'm thinking, the Bulldogs 1-12. Yourself?
Yeah,
Bulldogs 12. Yep. Friday night, the last game on Friday night will be Broncos Eels. For me, Broncos. Broncos at home as well.
Yeah. The Eels. Did you see that game last week against the Roosters? Roosters in that. At Allianz Stadium, it was like an absolute bog, and they still managed to go up like 13-0 in the first 30 minutes or something. So the Eels are done. Yeah.
So we Broncos, Raiders, Panthers on Saturday. First game for Super Saturday.
Oh, it's hard. It's always hard to go to Canberra. It's one of the least desired road trips.
Here we go.
No Cleary. Nah, Panthers. I bet the Raiders last week, and they paid for that, and they lost by 40 to the freaking Cowboys.
Yep. Nah, they have a lot of similarities to the Warriors, where they got potential, but then But anyway, let's not go there. Panthers as well. Second game for Saturday night: Storm Dolphins in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, you got me there.
Yep, Storm as well. Yep. Second game for Saturday night. The last game for Saturday night. Rabbitohs Knights.
Rabbitohs. It's in Sydney, eh?
Yes, in Sydney. Yep.
The Knights will be hurting from that 1 point loss to the Sharks last week, and still plenty of play for the Knights. Yeah, I think just on that factor that they can still they're still in the running to make the 8. Then I'll take the Knights.
I was actually going to say the Knights as well. So I think we picked up. I think we're on, for the first time we're on par with each other for every game.
I know. You gotta make some changes. I'm up by 6 on the overall leaderboard.
By
so.
6, far out. All right. Sunday first game, Titans Roosters. The Titans at home.
Yeah, Roosters.
Yeah, Roosters for me as well.
Roosters beat. I don't think they've beaten like a top 4 team all season, but they just smashed the bottom, 9 teams. So yeah.
Last game as well for the week is Dragons Sharks. That would be more of a tighter one, I think.
Yeah, plenty to pay for. I think if the Dragons win this, they basically will. They've got the 8th spot, but I don't think they will win. I think the Sharks will. I think they're coming right. They've got that Daniel Atkinson looks like a hell of a player. He's filling in for Hines. Just absolute clutch field goal last week and took control of the team when they were down by a try with in the final 10 minutes of the game. So I know you call them pretenders, but I don't mind the Sharks.
Yeah.
They could cause some upsets in the finals as well.
Yeah, no, fair enough, mate. Well, I'm just for the sake of trying to get close some points back, and I'm desperate now, so I'll go Dragons.
Nice. Yeah, I think we're pretty much on the same team. And
okay,
I'll go the Warriors just to make it interesting.
The funny thing is that because I'm going with the Bulldogs, they'll probably lose now. And the Warriors win. All right, we'll make it interesting. Thanks for doing that. But so I'm that's one. It is one tip that I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Oh, but I've been there before.
Yep, fair enough. Well, look, just so everyone knows before we wrap up, is that next week, or actually this weekend, I'm heading off to South Africa, taking my little my wife and my little boy, to meet his grandparents, his granddad, his grandma's already been to New Zealand to visit, so it's my wife's parents. So heading off to South Africa for a couple of weeks. So we're still going to try and do the podcast. I just don't know how with the time difference, but we'll figure it out, and I'll have to do it over my phone. So just giving you a heads up and stuff. But it's gonna. I'm hoping that I'll actually get to watch the game. I'm hoping that somewhere in South Africa there's a channel that allows us to watch NRL. I don't know. I have to look into it. But
I wouldn't bet on that. We might need to rely on
illegal streaming.
Sky Go. Yeah, I was going to say get a VPN and then go on Sky Go if you've got Sky or Sky Sport now.
I've got Sky, so I might have to do that. I haven't thought about it too much because I've been just so busy. But just wanted to let everyone know that next week, if we get a podcast done, an episode done, and you see me on my phone, that's the reason why. Because I'm not taking my gear over there. There's no way I'm taking my gear over there. So I don't want to take my gear to South Africa. So no, well, look, let's just thanks for everyone for listening in. Probably wasn't the most informative episode because it feels like it was just more like a repeat of every other game.
Yeah, so it was like a counselling. I felt like a counselling session. I feel like you should be paying me for that, John.
Buy you some. What's your drink these days? Ranfurly Draft or
Ranfurly Draft? Oh, wow, I haven't drunk that for a few years now.
Good old Ranfurly Draft.
As I say, a few headaches over that beer over the years. Oh, just the sound of that.
$10 a box. It was always good when you were a student.
Give me some double brown.
Yeah, no, it was always double brown. Double brown. No, it was always a good drink when you were a student, and your Kentucky Gold as well. Bottle of Kentucky Gold bourbon. There was $10 a bottle back in the days.
Jesus.
It's just it's just all over the place. But it's just anyway, everyone, thanks a lot. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode. We're really thankful for all the support. We're getting a lot of support this season, haven't we? It's gone up a bit, considering we only started halfway through last year. So the support's starting to ramp up. So we're really thankful and grateful. If you haven't, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channels. Richard, do you want to go and talk where we're at?
Yeah, just on all the usual poddy platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and we've got a YouTube channel. So get us on there, give us a comment. We'll try to reply with some good insight. That's us.
Yep. Thanks a lot, everyone. So have a good night and up the wires, and let's just hope that they can finish it off for Sean and Jazz, and for Sean Johnson, Jazz, and AFB on Friday night. Good night, everyone.
Up the wires.
It's